Welcome to Small Town Big Gays, everybody. We are the gays who are too large for how small of a town we live in. I'm Chance.
And I am the Chippewa Valley's premier Hillary Clinton impersonator, Khloe Wold.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Sheyoncé.
Yes.
Hi, Shay.
Hi, are you nervous?
Yeah.
Well, don't be. Because today I am wearing my trade outfit.
Is this one of your trade outfits?
I am accompanied by Eau Claire's premier woman, Sheyoncé Brown.
That wig looks too clean to be a trade.
Well, I didn't say the hair. I said the outfit.
Looks too flowy. Needs to be crunchier.
No, it's flowy because then I don't have to wear pads when I answer the hotel door or
Work.
if I have to go down to the lobby.
Work.
I'm like, hello.
Continental breakfast.
Hello, yes, it's me, Hillary Clinton, just here to do some leadership stuff.
Like, all right.
Yes, my daughter Chelsea's just up in the room writing reports.
Writing or riding?
Whatever they're into. No. Well, we are so very thrilled to have you. I know you're a little nervy, but don't be, because we're just going to have a good time and get to know you and talk the shit we talk and have some fun. And for our audience who may not know, Shay is one of my dear friends who honestly is probably the person that gets me riled up and cackling more than anyone I know, because the shit that comes out of our mouths is ridiculous. And one of our favorite things to do is to do Felicia impersonations. And she doesn't listen to the podcast yet. So, you know, we can say whatever we want about her because she doesn't listen to us.
Yeah.
So this is how we test to see if people listen to the podcast is talk shit about them. So
I'm ready for it.
Have you listened?
I think I watched like the first episode for like 10 minutes, and then I think I watched 30 minutes of Jim or Joey's.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We know because we've said a few things about you. And if you would be listening, you would know.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well.
it's okay.
What?
So now today we get to do that to somebody else if you want to test their listening skills out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone you'd like to see if they're listening?
She doesn't listen that often to anybody.
Who?
You know who. You know who.
I know who?
Hey, I told you to like call her out. And I was like going to go off about it.
Oh, shit. Who was it?
Sapphire.
Sapphire.
Oh, yeah. Wrong.
Wrong.
Okay. Miss Khloe.
Miss Khloe.
Okay, so I obviously know like a lot about you, more like your like within the last probably like, I don't know, we've known each other probably 12 years or so.
Yeah.
10, 12 years. I don't know a lot about little Shay, so I want to get in there. We did do you were one of my first guests on my chit chats with Khloe back on the Facebook Live days when I was a Facebook Live queen.
Yes.
Yeah, and I spelled chit chats with a K, and everyone just thought it said Kit Kats, which I'm also okay with.
And that's when it went downhill.
Yeah.
You spelled chit chats with a KC?
I was trying to do the Kardashian branding, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just let
All right.
The
Let go,
idea
let
sounded
God.
good. What is it? The
Execution.
execution was
wasn't there. Well, it was there.
Was
I did it
candy.
weekly. I would every week have someone, and I did it like for almost
real.
a year straight.
Mm-hmm.
I had some really good guests. I painted Barb up like a turkey once. That was iconic for Thanksgiving. I'll see if I can find a picture and you can insert it in the video because it's literally so fun. I even like put like a little warbler on her neck.
Oh, incredible.
And that made her go, oh, at the end of it. It was pretty great. Yes. But okay. So did you grow up in the
I
Eau Claire?
did. Born and
Valley?
raised, yes.
Okay.
Eau Claire.
Love that. Did you love it?
I did actually, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you're a very well-known person, and the fact of like, I would think like maybe people don't know you necessarily as like your drag persona, but like people just know you. Like every time I'm with you, everyone knows who you are.
It's 'cause of
like
Walmart.
through different things. Yeah. Like through
Walmart.
because of Walmart. But like it just people know you and love you. Like people really are well known in the community because you're a woman of the evening too. Yeah.
I just used to get around.
Used to get around.
Used to. I'm a married lady.
You are
I should
married
probably
lady.
switch hands. I forgot my ring at home.
On the scooter. That's how she gets around on Barb's scooter.
Yes,
She drives her around
just in
town.
the back, just butt naked, with my shecock hanging out. one.
Yeah, you know, for Amber's episode, we did a drinking game of every time I said I have a controversial opinion. For Shay's, it's going to be every time she says she cock, you take a drink of cum.
Ron?
Felicia's like, okay, this is the first
like, I'm
episode she
already 5
listened.
deep, girl.
They're spewing out my ass.
I'm soaked.
Okay, growing up in the Chippewa Valley. When did you like first come out? When did you first like? I know you have siblings. I don't know much about your past, so kind of fill me in a little bit.
I have 3 sisters. I'm the youngest, but I'm the tallest. So people always think that I'm the oldest, but I think like I came more of a rising of like who I was like a little bit of like in 8th grade, and then like once we went to like high school, I literally was like, ugh. I was like, there's something there with these kids.
Yeah.
And then I think I was a sophomore when I came out, and then like around that time also was like when I first like started watching Drag Race, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, so you're a product of the Drag Race.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
with the Vaseline lens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So if those of you who are listening and don't know Shay is a trans woman living her authentic life as a transsexual in the Chippewa Valley.
Trying.
She's trying. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So when you were coming to terms with you came out first as a gay male.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
And how old were you when that was?
You said kind of like sophomore year, maybe?
Sophomore year. So that was like
16, 15, 16, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you like came out to like your family and friends, or was it just kind of like a slow process?
I literally like was in class and I got up and I was like, can I go call my mom? So I literally like went to the office and I literally called her and I was like, hi. And she's like, what's wrong? I was like, I just want to tell you that I'm gay. She was like, that's it. I was like, yeah, that's it. I was like, see you when I get home.
Really? Actually super iconic.
Incredible.
Wow. Like, no, Mom, I'm sick from school. You're like, no, I'm gay. She's like, God damn it. Couldn't you have had the flu? Jesus Christ. Not today.
But yeah.
Okay. And then you just go back to class.
Then it just kind of was like a rolling snowball. I was like, yeah, I'm gay.
Okay. And was your like family and siblings supportive of this?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes, yeah. And they knew.
Yeah. I feel like we all kind of have like an inkling. Like, I don't think there's a really like many people who can hide it and truly like, you know, we all kind of, and obviously we know within ourselves from very young, you know, and it's just like coming to terms with it and how we feel people will deal with it with us versus how we deal with it with ourselves for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So growing up in the Chippewa Valley, did you have like much exposure to like queer life, queer people, or?
I think I went to school with like a few gay people, but not like, I don't think I was like really friends with them. I think I was more like acquaintance. It was like more just like I kind of like hopped around.
Yeah.
But not like the queer community, because I don't think it was as big. It was more in the church when I was younger, because it was you.
Yes, I was your pastor.
Were you really?
Yeah.
She sucked my shecock.
Two.
Well, so when was it that you came out like sophomore year? What do you remember what your like queer awakening was?
Was high school. Like it was like seeing like the older kids. Like I literally was like, oh wow. I was like, there's some pheromones kicking in that I didn't know I had. Yeah.
Oh, the
smelling some smells.
The men's were luring you into the locker room.
No. Sadly. Felicia was still there.
Twirling her baton.
Handing out towels.
No, I remember when I was in high school, I may have said this on the pod before, but the kids that were openly queer at my school were really into Harry Potter and Pokemon. And I was like, Mama, that ain't gonna be me. That ain't gonna be me. I ain't gay. So like, I was like,
never.
Nope. I was like, not me. So that was a huge reason why I didn't come out in high school. I mean, obviously, like when I was that age, it was like much more like you definitely got bullied and like it wasn't going to be a fun experience. Yeah. But I also saw like it was like a double bully for the queer kids at our school, because not only were they queer, they were also nerds that were into Pokemon and Harry Potter. Yeah, I was like, I'm not sitting at that fucking table and playing Pokemon cards. No offense, Josh. But it's that's not the journey I'm on. I want to be at that table talking about whose dick we're gonna suck.
Right.
You know, and if I can afford
to
shop at Abercrombie, which wouldn't have my size anyways as a
lip injection.
fat phobic. Okay. I do love a good lip injection. It's been a while.
If you would like to fund her lips, no, just kidding.
If you would like to deflate my lips, I'm thinking about getting them.
Come fuck them.
Yeah, I've been trying. They say that the more dicks you suck, the more your lips should go down, and I am proof that they only get bigger. So were you like friends in high school? Like, did you come out to them around the same time you came out to your family then?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and they were all just like, we kind of knew we were open to it.
Yeah.
Did you experience any like bullying from other kids in school or anything?
No, like it was like I finally came out, but like I got bullied before that because they were obviously like, you're hella gay, but like after that it was like, fuck off, like it is what it is, and then they just like immediately stopped after that. So
yeah,
and I also just don't care half the time.
Yeah,
I just live.
I kind of remember you when you were younger. You probably weren't in high school, but I remember seeing you at the Oakwood Mall once.
Yes, with my neon green Louis Vuitton bag.
Your neon green Louis Vuitton bag and your bleach
blonde
platinum
curls.
Little shaved head curls.
Look like Cisco.
Yep.
Thong.
Yeah, it looked like Cisco wearing you had your little whale tail thong hanging out the back and 7 foot fucking tall. And I'm just like, look at that faggot. Just living her best life. Loved it. I do remember that about you.
Memories.
So I feel like you also have had like quite the journey of like fluctuating in and out of like different places. And I think maybe a lot of that has come from like different relationship things you've been in, because like you haven't always been in the Chippewa Valley. I know you were in like lacrosse for a while, and that's kind of where you got your drag start.
Yes, I lived there for like 3 years on and off for 3 years, and that's like where like my drag career like really took off.
Okay, because you were a product of watching Drag Race, and you were like, this is for me, and you knew you wanted to get into drag. So where did you get inspiration for that, and what like kind of got you to like finally be like, okay, I'm going to do this?
My inspiration really like where it like kicked in more was my drag mother, Lily De La Rue. We started to hang out at that time before I started drag, and I was like, oh, you should just do my makeup and just see how it goes. I thought it was the fishiest thing in the world, and that's usually how it goes. But that's where like I was like, oh, I like how this feels.
Yeah. Suck someone off tonight in this
work.
Loved it. Okay, so Lily put you in drag.
Yes.
Where was your first performance?
I think my first ever performance was at the Brass Rail in Minneapolis on Hennepin Avenue.
Oh,
yes.
Do you remember what song you did?
Erica Jane, actually.
Of course. I have a really great story about the Brass Rail from a recent time of when we were up at the Charlie XCX concert. My brother was sitting outside the Brass Rail, and Amber and I were driving by, and she goes, "Is that your brother sitting at the Brass Rail?" And I was like, what? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's him. And then she just rolls down her window and she goes, "Brandon." And he looked at us. She's like, you're sitting at the Brass Rail. That's so embarrassing. And the bartender got so pissed off. And yeah, so the Brass Rail, what an iconic location to have a first performance.
That stage is so small. And it's just like, what's the countertop? It's literally just like a stone countertop stage.
Oh, isn't
really?
It like marble
it's
or something?
It's like marble with 2 fucking stripper poles.
Yeah.
Cool.
I live my best life on them.
Because you were probably young. You weren't probably 21 yet, were you? Or were you?
I think I was.
Okay.
How old are you now? I have no concept.
Middle-aged.
I'll bleep that out. Don't worry.
My black is cracking.
It is not. You look great, girl.
It's cracking.
So you and Lily were trolling up in the cities, performing, and...
Yeah, we would literally drive an hour and 30 and then literally come back at bar close.
Yeah. I feel like that's like was kind of that time in drag, because you were kind of like you were like on the cusp of like older drag kind of coming out into like more kind of newer drag stuff. So like I feel like you have experienced like I feel like you draw inspiration from old school drag and your drag of like you love the good 8 count steps.
Yes.
You can pas de bourrée with the best of them.
I always say you can pas de bourrée to almost any single song.
And I can't pas de bourrée to any song, but you can to every song. Shay is going to be teaching pas de bourrée classes at the YMCA all summer long on Tuesday evenings at 4:30.
Tuesday, Mom's got to work at Walmart, where everybody knows me from.
Okay, she'll be doing Monday evenings at 4:30 at the YMCA pas de bourrée classes.
In
classes
the pool.
Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you end at 10. And that's when you can do a fluent pas de bourrée to any song that comes on the radio with Sheyoncé Brown.
Literally. It's easy.
Will you teach me?
I can try.
Try.
This one's hard.
I'm not that one, though.
Wow.
That one.
Awkward. You mean Eau Claire's #1 Hillary Clinton impersonator?
Eau Claire's #1 Hillary Clinton impersonator.
That gets booked to do such wonderful events like a meat raffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does.
Good meat raffle.
We love a meat raffle.
I've never been, but I'm excited to host
I've
it.
never been either.
Speaking of a meat raffle, that bacon today at the Lakely was thick.
I didn't eat it.
I picked it up and I was like, yeah, that's thick for me. I put it right back down.
I don't think you've said that too many times.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so how did you meet Lily? How did that happen?
I think I met Lily through the Grinders actually, but we did not do anything. It was actually just like hey, we should hang out because I have no other friends.
Okay. I remember we'll have to get Lily on here sometime. But I remember Lily because they were kind of like from this area-ish. They're like closer to Marshfield or Wausau or something. Yeah. I can't remember exactly where, but they were one of the first people I saw that like would have some sort of like an online presence because she would always film like little videos of herself dancing in her living room or wherever she was. And I have to give it to her. She can dance. She's a great dancer, and she would give it. And she had this like just total like fuck you attitude about her. And I remember just like it was so funny, and I loved it. Like a very like if I had to give it like a thing, it was very Chris Crocker vibes from back in the day. You know, well look at the journey they're both on.
Yeah, for real.
Although she does not give off Kara Cunningham vibes, Lily. But yeah, I remember that about Lily. And then I remember meeting her as a young queer, and then she was actually a student at the school I taught at for a very short period of time. So I love that you guys found each other and found that relationship. And that was when you were in the cross then?
No, it was before that.
Before that? Okay. So you were still in Eau Claire then? Okay. And then you guys kind of like created your own little like drag family kind of thing.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Like me adding a drag daughter or like me becoming hers?
Both. Just kind of everything. How did the house
me
of
becoming
De La Rue?
hers? I think I asked her if she wanted to be my drag mom, and she said sure. And then we just added the last name, and then the rest is history. And then me adding Sapphire was like
your biggest mistake.
I definitely should have swallowed.
I didn't realize Sapphire was your drag daughter.
Yeah, that's fine. The name speaks for itself. That one, I was like, at the time, I was like, I like you and we mesh well. And if you want a drag mother, I will be your drag mother.
And did you say, I'm a mother, no drama?
I tried to, but still drama.
Yeah, you guys were like a little trio there for a while. This could be totally made up in my head, and I also think if this is a lie, then we need to blame Corndog for this. But I swear, Corndog at one point told me that you wanted me to be your drag mother.
I remember actually asking you, and I quote, she said, "We'll find someone for you." She looked away from me and was like, "We'll find someone for you."
Incredible.
I think that's not true. I think I said, I will gladly take you, my dear baby.
It's because I'm black.
No.
It's okay.
No, I was intimidated by your beauty.
Beauty, my she-cock? You're actually not intimidated by that.
No, I love it. I love it. No, I think that was probably like pretty early though. Like, I was probably not ready to.
Oh, you had like black smoky eyes all the time.
They were probably.
And then the headbands.
They were probably black eyes from the trade, beating me up. Be like, you don't look like this picture.
Well, you probably had a bang wig on and an eyeliner. That was it.
A bang, maybe mascara if they were lucky, but some lip gloss just to lubricate. But
I don't need that.
Well, I'm sorry, but now look at us, right where we need to be,
all soaked,
soaking wet and cum. Two women on a couch with a hot guy.
Hi,
who soaked us in his cum before the episode aired.
This is for me.
We actually came on his bald head to see if we can get some regrowth. It's like a chia.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that I was not
Me?
ready to be a mother.
I'm pretty sure Amber was your daughter at that time. So
Sorry, I wasn't ready to be a single mom of 2 children.
memories.
Memory. And this is where Shay kills me now. Just pulls out a gun and shoots me for not being her drag mother.
What is your first memory of Khloe?
It's actually Fireball, like the very first one.
Oh, God.
I remember sitting on the floor because they were like, yeah, we don't have any more seats. And like, we were like quite young. And I was like, well, I'll just sit on the floor. So I just sat on the floor and she came out and she did Adele.
I did.
With a mic stand and all.
I was an illusionist at the time.
It was an era.
You can't tell me you didn't look up and say, fucking Adele is here with us right now.
Maybe.
I definitely had
you did very good.
a
You did
full
very well.
bottom lash at that point, but
Yeah, you did very well.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I stayed in my lane of knowing I wasn't going to be bucking the house down. But you want to know what's even better is I remember Fireball that first year, and my second number was Beyonce's "Run the World." And did I run anything? No.
He's like, I walk.
I
walk the world, mama.
One of my first memories of you was I think you got proposed to at Fireball.
Memories.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember my first time seeing you actually perform.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was at a work show.
Maybe.
Would it have been? I don't remember you in
Did you ever go
lacrosse.
to lacrosse shows and all, or was that?
I would go to lacrosse and perform a lot, but I don't remember seeing you there.
Yeah.
I think I kind of
think it was a
stopped
little
at
bit
that
after
point.
that.
Yeah.
Work shows were the amateur nights they used to do, right?
Yes, work nights were the Spotlight amateur show that I started hosting with Adam Akla when he was working at Scooters, and because we had a lot of like newer talent that kind of was moving to the area, Divine, you, Corn Dog. There was a lot. There was like a good 10 of them, and I fucking loved doing the work shows.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was a good
yeah.
time. Y'all created like your own little family within it, and I enjoyed being there with y'all, and you guys worked hard.
It actually started like before I moved back from lacrosse, because it was like maybe like 3 or 4 shows that there was first before I moved back, and then I came in like hot, fucking
Trash.
shecock on wheels.
Yep, Shecock on wheels for
And
sure.
Came in hard,
Rock hard. I remember it.
soaked.
All 11 inches of it.
I wouldn't say 11.
Okay. 10 and a quarter.
10 and a quarter.
On a good day, maybe an 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some good memories. I enjoyed that time, and that was really when I feel like I started to get to know you.
Yeah.
At that time, and who you were. And I will say, hands down, Shay is, I'm just gonna say it, my favorite performer locally and around you. I was just telling Amber this last night. I said, you definitely are the performer who has the most musicality of any of us. Like, you understand fluidity of movement.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like you're not like a dancer and like a choreographed dancer. You just have fluidity to you, and you have a way of capturing the audience with like your looks, and it's like charisma that you can't like teach people. You have charisma and fluidity of any performer in the area for sure.
I just let the music
Take
over,
grabs you by the shecock and leads you.
basically.
Yeah.
I let it.
And so the work competition was a competition actually where the winner of the night would then get a paid spot in our monthly show at Scooters with the main stage cast, and you were the winner quite often. And I think that left,
I would just stand there and I'd be like, no, give it to somebody else.
yeah. Yeah, I think it would leave some bitter boot moments for quite a few people, because I think if you didn't kind of step back some, you probably would have won every time.
Probably.
Which is great, and I love that, and I have really enjoyed getting to know you as a friend, and the stupidity that ensues every time. It literally within 5 minutes we're just getting fucking, I'm sure people hate being around us.
Maybe. I think Felicia hates when we're around. Oh, girl, they loved it.
If you could go back to 15-year-old Shay, would she make out with 15-year-old Chance?
Probably. To be honest, yeah. Mm-hmm. I love a good bald head.
I wasn't bald when I was 15.
Oh, then probably not.
Balding already, probably.
Okay, then we can probably make it work.
All right.
Okay. Does 30-year-old Shay want to make out with 30-year-old Chance?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
on a good day.
I don't know how I'm supposed to interpret.
I mean, I think if
that.
my fiance probably approved it, probably. Yeah.
Well, we're pretending you don't have one.
Yeah,
though.
we're pretending.
yeah, I was.
This is hypothetical.
we're pretending I'm not married.
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
For disclaimer.
Tom, we're also respecting Tom
Yes.
too. Sorry, forget about him. We'll have him on the pod soon.
Probably on the pod soon.
Yes.
When was it that you, for this, we're just going to go right into the deep end. When was it you first realized that you were different, that you were a trans woman?
When I like started like actually like performing and like trying different outfits out, and I was like, I feel a lot more comfortable in women's clothing than men's clothing. Yeah, and I always felt kind of different-esque.
And you felt different before that too, and you
Yeah.
just couldn't like put
a finger on it. Yeah,
Did you put a finger in it?
many times.
Okay. How did that feel?
Fabulous.
Okay. And then that's when you knew.
I think I got older, and my hole just can't keep up with it anymore. I don't know how Felicia does it.
Well, we'll find out when we interview her and let you know. So when you came to the terms that you were trans yourself and started kind of revealing and telling that to people, did people were receptive of it? How are people, like friends, family? What was that experience like for you?
I would say friends were very receptive to it. Like you said, like you only knew me as like Sheyoncé, so it was like it just clicked. Yeah. My family was a little bit weird about it at first because they didn't understand it, and they were kind of just like, "What do we tell like your nieces and nephew?" And I was just like, you just tell them the truth, or if you need to, Google it. And they were like, "You want us to Google it?" I was like, "I don't know how to explain it. I just don't feel right." And so there was a time and place where we didn't talk for a very long time, but I'm very happy that we talk now. So
Yeah. I feel like we talk about this a lot with like having our families and friends like come to terms with the reality of what because I think like innately people just assume that everyone is straight and like that's how they're going to live their lives. Yeah. And like you don't think of the queerness, like, because I think most people, like, if they haven't had to experience it, they don't think about it,
Yeah.
And so I always say, like, as long as sometimes it takes for us to come to terms with it, although I think innately most of us know it right away from a young age, and people just make us feel weird about it. But as much as time it takes us to kind of come to terms in reality with it, like, it can take our family and friends to also have that reality. Now, as much as I like excuse them of like having to understand this new reality, it doesn't excuse them not taking the time to educate themselves and become educated on it and what that means. But as long as they're coming from a place of love and understanding and trying to understand who we are and what we are, then I'm like open to it. But I can understand how that might be a difficult situation as a trans person coming out to your family and friends and trying to explain what that means and what that would look like, and having nieces and nephews who are young and may not like quite get that. But like, have you found in your experience with having, because I know you have younger nieces and nephews, were they just like whatever about it? Or did it like take a while for them to kind of understand it? And did you have to like walk them through that? Or were you like, that's not my place, you figure it out?
I didn't walk them through anything. I don't know if my sisters did anything, but I mean, like, they kind of just like,
yeah, they're just
one
fine
night I
with
just
it,
started
right?
hanging out with them, and they were like, yeah, this is like my Aunt Shay, and that's
Yeah.
that. And yeah. And I will always, obviously, if you have a slip up and you apologize, which is okay, but if you don't apologize and you just don't, or you keep doing it, that's where it's an issue then.
Yeah. I feel like you're the type of person that like you're very I love this about you, where like I feel like you are very open-minded and like you will give people a chance, and like you don't hold that to them. But the minute that they like show you that they did it on purpose or mess with you anyway, it's immediate block, delete, done, no second chances, see you later. I mean, you will give a second chance eventually in life, but you are very quick to be like, nope, you crossed me, it's done.
Yeah. Life is too short.
Yeah.
Block them. I always get asked, or just like, how do you just like block people and just like move on? I'm just like, still sleep like a rock at night. Don't stop eating.
I was like, I always tell Shay, I'm like, I feel like I'm one of the only people you've never blocked yet.
And then I throw that at you. I'll block you.
Right.
And you're like, do it.
Today she just blocks me after the podcast. I'd fucking get my life. Although I did, when you did delete your Snapchat for a short bit, I was like, did you finally block me, bitch?
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, I know. You were just kind of like,
deleted
she got me.
I was like, I'm just over it. Nobody talks me out on this thing. Bye. It's like, what's new? Blocking everybody.
Yeah. And I appreciate that about you. But do you ever feel like, I'm trying to think of how to ask this question of like, as a trans person, and I don't have this story of like, because you live your day-to-day life as you, and you're unapologetically you, and where you work, like there's no hiding who you are. Like you have to be very open, and I feel like your work is pretty supportive of you for the most part, which is wonderful. But like, do you feel like a lot of times you have to educate people on certain things? And if so, do you feel like, do you wish that they would take more time to educate themselves? And like, do you feel like it's your responsibility to educate people?
I think there's a time and place for it. Like, I know I've been like asked at work, like when I get misgendered and they're like, oh, do you get upset over that? I'm just like, it's like a 5-second interaction working at Walmart where it's like, I'm not going to let it ruin my 8-hour shift. Yeah. Where it's a 5-second interaction where they're probably not going to remember like that I told them, hey, can you do this survey? Yep. Yeah, thanks, sir.
Yeah.
In that case, I think definitely they should. I always think like people should just be like, if you don't know a gender, just say they, them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if it upsets them, say, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I didn't want to upset you, and go from there.
Yeah, I don't understand why like, I get like people are trying to be respectful with manners of saying like ma'am or sir, but it's like so easy to have a conversation and not even like use a pronoun, period. Yeah. Like and they, them, anything. Like it's just easy to be like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, thank you, ma'am. Just be like, all right, thank you. You know, like I get that. But I feel like being a trans person and you're very like out and open, like I said, everyone kind of knows you in some form. Do you feel like pressure to answer questions and like have conversations? Do you feel like a lot of people, like other trans people, like talk to you or like look up to you, ask you things?
I don't feel pressured when I get asked questions. I always like when people ask me questions, and I always say like, if you have a question, like I'm willing to answer it. There is a line that I don't cross. I'm just like, you don't need to talk about that because that's between me and myself.
Okay, can you give me an example of one of those?
Like what? Oh, like you still got your she-cock? 4. That might be 3. 4.
I believe I think we're
that's
at
like
5
6 or
or
7.
6.
That's 21.
Yeah, I think it's
or it's like, oh, have you got any surgeries yet? And it's like, why does that matter?
Right.
Like it's, yeah. I like to give the illusion.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like I think you give such a really interesting perspective that a lot of our listening audience are going to be very curious to know about, and they're going to have a lot of questions. And I think that you're great about you're a very open person and you'll answer it, but it's very much like on how you feel the person's respecting you and how they're asking it. And I think that's important because like if someone was genuinely asking you like, have you had any surgeries? Like, because they're inquisitive of wanting to like know them for themselves, like you're going to talk about that. But it's like, if it was just like some, I don't know.
G.I. Joe
coming up to you like, hey, you still got that between your legs. You're going to be like, well, let me show you in the bathroom.
Like, have you met my friend Felicia?
Yeah. She comes out of the bathroom soaking wet with cum dripping out of her ass.
Come on, my ass. Come on.
I'll show you a she-cock. Get in here. I feel like as someone who's like well-known and in the limelight, like you probably get a lot of people asking you things, and like do you feel like pressure to be like a representation for a whole community as yourself, I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't think so. I know like a lot of them do come to me and they're just like, oh, I want you to like do my makeup, or I want you to do this. I'm just like, I hate doing my own makeup. Yeah. Like I like it when I'm in it. It's just a lot of energy to get up and just do it.
Yeah.
I like being a representation of it. I like being open and out there about it and being unapologetically about it. So
do you ever just have days where you wish like people weren't asking you questions about it, or are you like just fine with that? Like,
I think it depends on the day.
Yeah. Like you just have days where you're just like, I wish I could just like live my life and just
Live my
not
life,
have to
yeah.
like be an example or like be something, you know, I
Yeah.
could just blend in.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one trans person in this community to kill right now, who would it be? I'm just kidding.
We don't have that many, do we?
I don't know. You would know.
Why? Because I'm trans?
Yes.
Right.
You have chosen to stay in the Eau Claire community. What do you like about the Eau Claire community, and what is like a positive thing you could say about being an openly trans person in the community here, a small town community?
What was the first part?
I don't remember. Rewind.
Pretend amnesia.
What is... Fuck, why am I forgetting?
Oh, why did you stay in the Chippewa Valley versus
Oh.
like going to a bigger city?
I think I stay here because it's kind of like old stomping grounds. It's just,
Familiar for you.
yeah, just familiar.
Do you ever wish you
Comfortable.
moved to like a bigger city or anything?
To be honest, no. I would probably move back to La Crosse, but that probably won't be in my future. I want to move states
Okay. For any particular
to
reason?
better weather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just that. So you're cool, you're comfortable being in a smaller community. Do you think sometimes it's just like you're blessed to be in Eau Claire? Because I talk about this on a lot of episodes of like Eau Claire, it really is a great community,
Yeah.
and it's pretty open and understanding, because I'm sure it may not be the same experience in another smaller town too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still like pinch myself like for like how many people that do know me from just drag by itself. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same way or not.
Yeah, we all do drag as, it's not like we're just doing it because it is fun and it's something we enjoy, but we also enjoy like the celebrity of it. Like
Yeah.
you enjoy the attention. Like obviously you're not just out there dancing and doing this for your own sick pleasures.
Well,
Somewhat.
we'll put...
So when do you plan on having bottom surgery?
I was actually gonna ask if you could do it now.
Okay, we're gonna
Live.
do it after. Just pull out a fucking little.
I'm gonna save that sheacock. Put it in the bag. Put it on ice. We're gonna sew it to my 5.
No, I think like also too, like why our community is so amazing is because we have people like you that are just so willing to like be open and talk about things. And like, I just feel like people feel really comfortable with you. And once they get to know you and just like, you have this like sort of era about you that you like come from a place of like knowledge and you've been through it. Like, I feel like you're also like and we can choose to talk about this or not if you don't want to, but like your transition journey has been like an interesting one of like, going through the facets of like traditional of like taking the hormones and then not, and like things like, I feel like there's been like, it's like been a journey of you figuring out your own transition and what that looks like for you. Cause I feel like so many times, in the public eye, we see like this is how transition should happen of like you get on the hormones, you grow the hair out, and or like for trans men of like grow the facial hair, have the surgeries, do these things. And that's not always one accessible in a smaller town, affordability as well. And like understanding that. And so like, can you give me what your perspective is on that and like how you've kind of your transition journey and how that looks and how you're going through it and how you're figuring it out for yourself?
So I started taking hormones and it was going good for a while, and then it was like some like life things happened where I was just like, oh, I can't afford to do it right now. So I just like got off of it, and it was like just a lot of emotions. I literally was like crying at like a bag of chips opening for no reason. And so I was like, I think I'm just gonna like get off them for a while, save some money, and then being on the hormones kind of helped me like be comfortable. Like I was like I felt like the connection. I was just like, I feel better. And then like slowly getting off them, I was like, I can still feel that way. Like the hormones are still there. Like obviously it's not good for your body, but I just felt more comfortable in my skin, and just it's my transition, and we'll get on hormones someday soon.
Yeah. So like for maybe we have some like gender nonconforming or trans listeners that are listening to this that maybe feel like the only way to be validated in their transition is to go through that more traditional route of like having to be on the hormones, being, like what society tells us of like what feminine or masculine is. what kind of like words of advice can you give them to just be comfortable in their skin of like, maybe they don't have the funds to get that stuff or the resources in their towns or community to do that? How can they, because I know you, and I know at least if you are truly deep down inside, you give an air of confidence regardless of what you are and how you're presenting and how you're looking and how you're feeling. Like, you just give off that confidence. And I think that's really important. And I think a lot of the listeners could do that. So where do you find that confidence, and where do you find that from?
I think the confidence just like, I mean, obviously doing drag kind of gave me that confidence, but it's at the end of the day, I mean, if you can live with yourself and you can just, I mean, if you can't afford them and you can't afford them, I mean, there should be ways to find it, but if you can't love like your outside, like you know, like that's, I don't know. I'm
choosing to love your inside helps you love your outside a little bit more, you think?
Yeah.
Being like comfortable within yourself helps you be a little more comfortable with the skin you're presenting.
Mm.
Yeah. So if like resources and funding was unlimited, what would that look like for you?
Hormones. I would definitely probably get my boobs done. I would probably get an orchiectomy. I like to keep the other thing, my she-cock.
At SeaWorld
orchiectomy.
Oh.
What
is that? Explain that to the audience.
Your testicles. So then you have one less income of testosterone.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And that tuck is snatched.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think it's just such a interesting thing of trans and like the journeys and the all the different resources and stuff that are available, but like also there's just validity and just being you, exactly who you are, and being open to that and just understanding that. And that's part of the journey, is just understanding who you are and just being comfortable with yourself, whatever you're presenting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I also think it's good that you are just, I think like we've been saying, that people assume that to be validated as trans, you have to go through the full, you have to do everything. You need top surgery, you need bottom surgery. And they think like doing less than that is kind of, I feel like that in the minds of a lot of, maybe particularly the straight community, but doing less than that gets like reserved for fetishism,
Yes.
she-cock, all that. What are we, 9? On it is like its own fucking category on Pornhub and stuff. And so like the less traditional transition gets reserved for being fetishized. And I think it's good that like there's someone like you in the community who is like open and themselves, that shows that you don't have to do, and you're no less valid as a trans woman or a trans man, or non-binary or whatever someone is, if you just aren't following that traditional path.
And like I've had like men that were just like, I won't touch you unless you get that surgery. I'm just like, work, bye.
Yeah.
Block.
And I'm just like, you probably want it, you're just scared of it.
Yeah. Well, and I also know like for you, one of our favorite shows that we've related on a lot is Pose. Mm-hmm. I feel like that show did a really great job of showing some like trans perspectives of things too, and like what they go through. So I have a couple things I wanted to ask you about, and again, talk at your own comfort with it. But you're now in a relationship. Before that, as a single trans person in the community, do you feel like you were fetishized a lot, or like what was your experience with like dating or like sexual experiences in the community?
I definitely think that I was fetishized a lot. I mean, like, and at the time, like I was loving it because like, the hormones were high and I was feeling my oats, and I was like, yeah, I'll offer it up. But like, I definitely think I was fetishized. Yeah. So it's,
And I feel like in order to like be comfortable with that, like you have to be comfortable in your skin. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like for you, you have have this confidence where like you can handle that, where like it's a tough thing to be fetishized for something about you and like your identity. Yeah. Like, I mean, it can be anything, whether that be being fetishized for your weight or, like your things like that. And so I think that takes a lot of confidence to go out there and just like be with that and be comfortable with it and experiencing it. But you found love with a really great partner, and how did that come about?
Actually, we were actually going on a ride one summer, and we went to like around where I lived and then where he lived, and he was like, oh, my bus used to go here. And I was like, well, my bus used to go this way. So then like we were like, oh, did we ride like the same bus? And then like we found out that we did ride the same bus, but then he moved away. And then I moved to La Crosse, and then, well, that was like how many years after, but then moved to La Crosse, moved back, and then like randomly got a job and somehow ran into him at that job. And
was it weird knowing you both had Felicia as your bus drivers as kids?
I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think I did because my bus driver was bald with a hat and white.
That sounds like Felicia.
That sounds like Felicia, yeah.
They weren't making you listen to their Miss Gay Wisconsin mixes on repeat.
Chihuahua puss.
With the whip cracks.
Get on up.
So you're in a happy relationship, love and life.
Yes.
You and your mans.
With our 2 cats.
Your 2 cats.
What are the cats' names?
Dill and Stevie.
Dill and Stevie.
Stevie after Stevie Nicks. I have an obsession.
Stevie Nicks, yeah. So where do you see the future for Shay Brown? What do you see yourself doing?
Probably, hopefully moving away and buying an old house and living on my days, twirling in my kitchen to Stevie Nicks.
Cute. That's adorable, actually.
And my raised garden beds.
Yeah. You do love to be a country woman.
I love it. Cunt. Tree woman.
I hate it. I hate everything about the life that you want to live. And it's not because you're trans. No, I love that. So that's good. I'm glad that you have like found happiness. I'm glad that you are comfortable living the life that you live. You're happy with who you are. Just twirling around town, letting them know, educating the children.
Yeah, just loving my mans.
Loving your mans and your pussies. Your pussies.
What's your advice for, that kid that might be trans or non-binary, the little 15-year-old?
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
No, just kidding. Just go through it. Go through and just live it. And listen to your brain and your heart.
Because there's really, ultimately, there's no running from it.
There's not. It's.
Did you ever have like a point where you felt like you like knew it, but you're like, I can't do this? Or were you always just like, I know it's going to eventually come there. I just have to wait for the moment to be right for me.
I think that's how it was. It's just like, I know it's going to happen. And when it got there, I was like, let's go.
I feel like I like run into that a lot, like on the applications of like a lot of men who like know it, but like because of societal pressures will never like go through and be comfortable with it. And then it like becomes like a weird fetish for them.
Or they just can't do it because they have families.
Yeah.
And they don't know. They're scared of how they're going to react.
Yeah. Well, they can find Felicia on Grindr and
probably
get their best life.
She's like, before I suck you off, you got to watch me dance the house down real quick.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Tell me you love it.
They all want her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want us to know about you? Any advice you want to give? Anyone you want to talk shit about?
I don't think so.
Fuck, marry, kill local performers.
To be honest, I'd probably fuck you. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's probably because of the hateful sex. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of tears on both ends.
I can't touch her she-cog. It's right there. Probably marry, like you said, the drag community. Or
local drag performers.
This might take a while.
I love that you just immediately off the bat want to fuck me, so I'm good.
Work.
I always get the marry one. Most people want to marry me.
It's probably because your house is immaculate.
And I'm mentally stable. Ish. Debatable? Okay.
Debatable. It's debatable.
All right.
We all have our... I sucked you off, now get. Don't you dare touch any rugs on the way out. You probably keep like an inventory of everything that's in the house. And after the train leaves, you go through every single thing and check it off.
I do have a routine sometimes where I have my nice things that I don't, even though nothing ever happens, but I am worried about them stealing, and I have my places I hide them.
What are your nice things that you hide?
I'm not telling you. I'll tell you after the camera.
She takes her sex toys out of her nightstand and puts her good stuff away.
Have those. No. I have, like a laptop, money. I have cash around the house.
I know. It's everywhere.
Nice designer bags. Okay.
Mary, I'd probably marry
Joe?
Probably. Yeah. No. No. In the words of Joe, two flowers cannot water each other.
Okay.
But I'm also a top. Well, I'd marry him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who would you kill?
Probably Sapphire.
Okay. Love that.
And I'd probably still sleep like a rock.
Okay.
Everybody would be like, work.
Love that. Well, anything else you wanna tell the audience?
I don't think so.
No.
Where can people find you on the interwebs?
They can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Shay Brown, but Instagram I think is Shay Bada BB. Just look that up. You should find me somewhere.
And if you can't find her online, she has blocked you. Yep. And
probably.
She will probably block you at some point if she hasn't already.
And if you want to, and I talk bad about you now, you could probably block me now if I get to you.
Do we have any questions from our studio audience? Can you think of anything? While there's a fourth person here.
Do you have anything to add? How do you feel about trans people?
Yeah.
Pop off.
Yeah, sure. Come on camera.
I have lots of opinions about this.
Go on.
Trans people are the backbone of the queer community, point blank, and the period. Without trans people, we are nothing. Thank you for your service.
Love you. Am I a veteran?
Ick. Where'd this demon twin come from?
My hole. From Felicia's hole. Okay. Leaked out.
Okay, bye. Love you
bye.
all.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1 AM by TYB. You can check out his music. Links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.